Try not to scream at these secrets from Rifleman. You must have heard about the great American Western TV series, The Rifleman, which featured Chuck Connors as a widowed rancher, Lucas McCain, and Johnny Crawford as his last-born son, Mark McCain. They lived in a small town in the New Mexico Territory during the 1870s and 1880s that shockingly drew in sharpshooters from everywhere. The Rifleman is recognized as one of the best broadcast westerns ever. Listen to this video to learn some fantastic facts about the show and the featured actors. Make sure you try not to scream at these secrets from Rifleman. Here is the story, The Rifleman Tale. The show was done in 5 seasons. Fans were really into this show, where McCain carried his rifle everywhere on the ranch. And it is among the most hyped television series between the late 1950s and early 60s. The show's creator and developer, Arnold Levin and Sam Peckinpah respectively, were recognized as legends as the directors of westerns. Everything about The Rifleman was excellent, starting from the set to the cast, life lessons to character revealing. All these made their audience engaged from the start to the end of the show. This video goes further to reveal to you everything that happened behind the scenes while shooting the show, as well as the actual reason for the end. Getting the perfect characters. Chuck Connors was first offered the lead of Lucas McCain in the show, but he turned down the offer because the pay wasn't enough for him. The show's makers promptly considered James Whitmore and John Anderson to play the part. They thought they were cheaper and could easily accept the amount of pay. Back in their minds, they knew that Connors could be a perfect character, but since TV shows had a lower budget in that time, the budget was too low to accommodate all the requirements for Connors. However, through that, they ended up discovering something incredible. What was the amazing discovery? Connors had made a hit film in 1957 with Disney's Old Yeller, where he co-featured with kid actors Tommy Kirk and Kevin Corcoran. Obviously, the producers could easily see the chemistry between the actors on screen, and the Connors could respectively talk to a child, and they both understood each other. They realized then that Connors was worth the higher pay. This great discovery made them do something that Connors never anticipated. They raised the stakes, and Connors said yes to the amended offer: the rifle and its fun. Arnold Levin, the Rifleman producer, said in an interview that the popular gun that Connors used in the show is iconic, and it is the same gun that had been used in another famous show, known as the mega-hit western Stagecoach by John Wayne. It was an 1892 .44-40 Winchester rifle. Connors shot 12 shots with the rifle in the great opening credits that ran before a new weekly episode. True to say, the weapon was awesome. From the notes, sets, and other historical references provided by the show, the Rifleman occurred during the 1870s and 1880s. McCain toted a well-modified Winchester Model 1892 with a huge ring switch, making it easy for him to do that magnificent positioning by turning the firearm in his arms. Meaning when the show went down, the gun was not yet produced, unless he was a time machine. What made the show come to an end? Could the historical inaccuracies be the reason behind this? Let's explore. Renowned author and director Sam Peckinpah initially composed the Rifleman pilot for the well-known Western Gunsmoke, but it was unsuccessful for 3 years. He was one of the best Western producers of the time, and his contribution to the project came with great legitimacy. Developing the show characters. He was brilliant and considered changing the Gunsmoke script by replacing the lead character's name with Lucas McCain instead of John McCain, and including a son in his script. He also considered making many other changes in the script to bring it to life. Apart from making changes, he considered adding other things. He started by incorporating drama into the script into the best way possible. Arnold Levin, the film producer, thought of adding some twists before fully producing the film. Lucas McCain was made to be a widower who brought up his son all by himself, and they made McCain a dead rifle shot instead of a pistol sharpshooter. The special talent of shooting with both hands. Lucas McCain always hit his target with a greater accuracy percentage at 99.99% during that time. He could make those shots with any hand. In various episodes of the show, McCain would quickly change hands as he made shots without losing sight of his target. This was something that was never mentioned on screen or off by Connors and fellow actors. Fans quickly noticed the talent and have always had those moments, keeping it memorable. What were Connors' addictions in real life? Well, everyone has one. Either you know or you have no idea, but you're always addicted to something. Connors was not an exception either. Cigarettes were never considered that bad back in the 50s when the Rifleman was being shot. However, Lucas McCain was just shown smoking a cigarette once on the show. But in real life, Connors smoked 60 cigarettes a day. He passed on at 71 in 1992 from complications from lung cancer and pneumonia. However, his death was not the actual reason for the show coming to an end. Stay with me to find out why the show finally ended. Bonding with his son and the widower. Lucas McCain always had lengthy conversations with his son on the show, Mark, mostly about morals and responsibility. However, he also had a few grown-up friends, among them the Plainsman. Michael Ansara was shown as his Plainsman character in 2 portions of The Rifleman, and was then allowed to perform and star in his show, Law of the Plainsman, in 1959. Unfortunately, the show may have come out at the wrong time, and never made its way to success. Did we say widower? Yes, Lucas McCain's main character showed that he was a creative parent on American TV. He happened to be the first widowed parent to be shown perfectly bringing up his son alone. He acknowledged Sam Peckinpah for composing solid, strong content that brought reality to the father-son relationship in the most appealing way possible in the show. What's more, other TV series before long got on. This has become more common in current TV shows, meaning for the time, the show was creative and incredible by showing a single father raising his son alone. Interests in games. Connors, a local of Brooklyn, joined the first Boston Celtics group ever in 1946. He likewise had the qualification of being the first expert basketball player awarded with breaking a backboard. As it could be seen, he precisely played baseball for Brooklyn Dodgers and Chicago Cubs. Most coaches and scouts he played under during that time could easily recognize his unique and special athletic capabilities. It did not take long before his career in games and sports hit the top. Did he stop there? Let's find out. He got out of the Celtics so he could go and play with his childhood legends, the Brooklyn Dodgers. Then, later, he went to join the Chicago Cubs in 1951, where he played a respectable starting point. The good to beat it all, the Chicago Bears drafted him. Perhaps participating in all the sports cultivated Connors' remarkable ability to use both hands. He unquestionably appeared to be genuinely excellent at all that he attempted. I'm sure that if he was still alive today, he could be in another very different career, and probably doing great. Was the TV show considered violent? When The Rifleman released, it was said to be a very violent show, and it aired live with The Untouchables, which broadcasted around the same time. McCain made the world's most unique weapon, allowing him to shoot amazingly quickly. Michael Torrance, the town's marshal, was recovering from alcohol addiction. He had a lot of struggles in keeping everything under control in Norfolk, and frequently requested McCain for assistance in keeping things under control. Whenever things went out of hand, Torrance could always go to Sweeney's bar to muffle his distresses. In most cases, villains used to force Marshall to take alcohol so they could take control of the specific situation at hand and help him out. Did Johnny Crawford have a favorite episode, and why? Johnny Crawford's favorite episode is when his character had to choose between staying with his mom in paradise or living with his dad on the planet. The episode's title was The Vision. He further explained in one of his interviews that it took them 9 days to shoot that part, instead of the normal 3 days, because at the moment he was suffering from high fever. You might be wondering why he had to shoot the episode while sick instead of taking a rest. But the truth is, if he could have been known to be sick, the show could have posed until he got well again. Crawford did not want that to happen. Therefore, he did his best to make sure the part got to its place, and the fact that he made this a success makes it his favorite episode.